Crash damage cars, so many people wouldn't buy it. It's been in a crash. My videos have opened the eyes. Because one car's crash damage, not everyone's repaired badly. It's just there are some bad ones out there.
What happens when the richest man on earth puts $50 million on the table for a YouTuber with a wrench? Matt Armstrong has transformed from a garage mechanic to a global sensation, taking on impossible car rebuilds that even Ferrari and Bugatti struggle to control. Could Bezos' backing mark the start of a new era where independent restorers rewrite the rules of supercar ownership? As traditional manufacturers scramble behind closed doors, this story reveals a clash that might disrupt the high-end car world forever. The rumored Bezos offer. The automotive world is buzzing with a rumor that seems almost too bizarre to be true. Jeff Bezos, the richest man on earth, has allegedly made a $50 million offer to Matt Armstrong. This claim has caught the attention of fans and industry insiders alike, not because of its likelihood, but because of what it suggests about the shifting landscape of car culture and ownership. Although neither Bezos nor Matt has confirmed the deal, the mere idea of a tech billionaire backing a YouTube mechanic with tens of millions of dollars has sparked curiosity and debate everywhere. At first glance, the story sounds like a wild pairing, an industrial titan and a hands-on gearhead popular on YouTube. Usually, when rumors attach enormous sums to internet personalities, they fade fast under scrutiny. Yet, this one refuses to die down, partly because it fits into a larger narrative where new players challenge established supercar giants like Ferrari and Bugatti. If true, the offer could signal a major disruption, not just in car repair, but in controlling access to rare automobile parts and expertise. Despite the lack of official proof, the rumor gained traction because it taps into something real. Matt Armstrong has evolved beyond a simple garage mechanic. Over the years, his expertise in handling wrecked supercars, often cars considered impossible to fix, has turned him into a figure with remarkable influence. His approach goes against the grain of the traditional auto industry, and that's precisely what makes the idea of Bezos's investment plausible in the eyes of many. Still, the question remains: why would someone like Jeff Bezos risk $50 million on a YouTube channel that's basically about car repairs? The answer is sort of partly there, because what happens when deep pockets meet deep mechanical knowledge? And it's outside the normal corporate channels. It's not only about money, though. It's also about the possibility to reshape an industry that's long depended on exclusivity, tight control, and those sky-high repair costs that nobody can really ignore. A lot of people have dismissed the rumor as a quick little blip, or just another exaggeration in the influencer economy. But the way this story keeps hanging around, that resilience kind of hints it's tied to bigger tensions in the supercar world. Owners get frustrated with limited factory support, and the prices for parts are excessive, so they start looking toward independent builders like Matt. At the same time, bigger investors might be seeing an untapped pool here for disruption, because the usual pathways feel locked. What's pretty clear is that Matt's workshop means more than just a place where cars get fixed. It's become a kind of symbol of defiance against that decades-old manufacturer's stranglehold. If serious backing from Bezos is real, then it adds weight to the symbol, and it suggests a new chapter where independent garages gain power on a scale that hasn't really been seen before. In the end, the real significance of this rumor isn't in the dollars or even the deal itself, but in what it shows about control across the automotive world. This tension between tradition and innovation sets the stage for a closer look at the man at the center of the storm and exactly how he built his reputation with millions watching every bolt and panel repair. Matt Armstrong's growing influence. Matt Armstrong didn't start out as a global sensation. His journey began in a small local garage, working on vehicles most people wouldn't dare approach. His early days were filled with wrench turning on damaged cars, that mainstream mechanics might have written off instantly. But what set Matt apart was his relentless curiosity and no-nonsense attitude toward fixing cars, no matter how beaten or complex. Over time, Matt's hands-on repairs captured more than just engines and broken parts. They captured an audience. His YouTube channel transformed from a hobby into a hub for automotive enthusiasts hungry to watch the gritty reality of rebuilding wrecked supercars. Unlike glossy factory showcases, Matt's work felt authentic. Raw moments of trial, error, and creative problem-solving that humanized the impossible task of fixing high-end vehicles. Matt's audience exploded as he took on cars that epitomized luxury and exclusivity but had become liabilities to their owners, often because manufacturers refused to support independent repairs. His videos demystified these secretive machines, turning complex technical hurdles into entertainment millions could follow every week. This unique combination of transparency and technical skill became Matt's hallmark, drawing in subscribers by the millions. The fact that Matt has surpassed 7 million subscribers on his main channel, with millions more on his secondary ones, shows the scale of his influence.
Matt Armstrong.
Over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube, 240 million views.
This extensive reach means he's not just a mechanic in a garage. He's a trusted figure who can galvanize a global community. His success isn't just about fixing cars. It's about redefining what it means to own and repair some of the most expensive vehicles in the world. Matt's reputation carries more weight than just YouTube algorithms, and it kind of pulls in people who feel stuck in the car industry's tightly managed repair networks. In his videos, you see the real day-to-day struggle of working on machines that are basically locked behind corporate policies and parts that are hard to reach or just not sold. His growing presence puts pressure on the old guard, and it hints at a future where independent mechanics might end up holding more leverage than factory dealers do. And this isn't only content or entertainment, it also starts to feel like a platform for new ideas. Matt's way of tackling problems, where he'll often design or manufacture rare replacement parts himself, shows a shift from passive ownership to active involvement. For a lot of car owners, this is a surprising, even radical idea that pushes back against manufacturers' kind of monopoly grip on repair and maintenance. You can see how that, alone, changes the conversation. Then he turns each complicated job into a story, shared in a way that spreads worldwide. And that becomes a business approach few traditional auto shops could realistically match. It mixes mechanical skill with visual storytelling, so even the most technical repairs become more understandable and, honestly, more fun to watch. That's also what makes the supposed Bezos offer sound so tempting. Not only the money, but the whole setup. An infrastructure that's built on trust and broad appeal, not just hype. As Matt's influence keeps rising, the risk to the established interests in the supercar world grows too. Still, his road from local mechanic to digital powerhouse isn't the whole thing. The reactions from the industry giants, who once ignored or brushed aside guys like him, show the deeper friction happening underneath all the polished surfaces. If Matt's growing influence unsettles Ferrari and Bugatti, it's because it foreshadows a shift they cannot easily control. The supercar industry's unease for brands like Ferrari and Bugatti, exclusivity is their currency, and control over repairs and parts supply is a key part of maintaining it. These manufacturers invest heavily in protecting their vehicles, not only to ensure safety and quality, but also to safeguard their brand prestige. When an independent mechanic like Matt Armstrong begins to chip away at that control, it inevitably creates discomfort within these long-standing companies. Matt's refusal to follow the official channels for parts and repairs directly challenges this system. Instead of relying on manufacturer-approved dealerships, he often improvises, fabricates, or sources alternative solutions. While this rebellious approach wins fans, it also raises alarms for the car makers, who worry about safety, brand integrity, and lost business revenue. Ferrari and Bugatti are particularly sensitive because their cars are packed with cutting-edge technology requiring specialized knowledge and software access. In the case of Ferrari's recent 296 GTB rebuild, manufacturers reportedly blocked Matt from ordering parts and cut off technical support, highlighting just how far they are willing to go to maintain control. The stakes become even higher with Bugatti, where cars like the Chiron Pure Sport are worth millions and come with extreme complexity. Bugatti has allegedly refused to sell parts for critical repairs and discouraged independent rebuilds, fearing damage not just to vehicles, but to their brand's reputation. These protective stances underscore the supercar world's vulnerability to disruption.
To awaken the beast in this ultra-powerful engineering work of art, the developers have made the best even better.
However, the very resistance from these companies fuels Matt's popularity and narrative. Every attempted blockade or parts denial creates compelling content, showing an everyman taking on billionaire-led corporations. This dynamic flips the usual power balance and turns industry policy into a dramatic spectacle, with millions watching to see who sides with the independent mechanic over the manufacturer. The automotive landscape is shifting from a closed system to a battlefield where control, access, and ownership rights are hotly contested by stakeholders. This change explains why the rumors linking Bezos and Matt strike such a chord. An infusion of cutting-edge AI, manufacturing technology, and capital behind someone who defies the norm threatens to undermine the entire supercar ecosystem. The tension is not just technical, it is cultural and economic. Ferrari and Bugatti represent old-world craft and exclusivity, while Matt Armstrong embodies modern innovation and open access. This clash may reshape who decides the fate of high-performance cars, especially as owners demand more autonomy over their prized machines. Behind the scenes, the legacy automakers are scrambling because they know the rules of ownership and repair are being rewritten. From this rising conflict, a dramatic spotlight falls on a particularly fierce showdown: the rebuild of a hybrid Ferrari 296 GTB, a project that would push the boundaries of independence and corporate control to their limits. The Ferrari 296 GTB rebuild battle. Matt Armstrong's rebuild of a Ferrari 296 GTB became one of his most complicated projects, and one of the clearest examples of the tension between independent mechanics and modern supercar manufacturers. The 296 GTB isn't just a powerful Ferrari. It's a sophisticated hybrid packed with electronics, software, sensors, and high-voltage systems that all need to communicate perfectly. Rebuilding one after a major crash meant dealing with much more than damaged body panels and mechanical components. When Matt took on the wrecked Ferrari, the car wouldn't start and displayed hybrid system faults. Even after repairing much of the physical damage, the bigger challenge remained: software calibration and factory authorization. Ferrari reportedly restricted access to certain parts once it became clear the car was being rebuilt outside its authorized network. That turned an already difficult repair into a public battle. Rather than abandon the project, Matt searched for alternatives. He eventually used components from Ferrari's track-focused 296 Challenge, adapting them to work with the road car. Because those parts weren't originally designed for the GTB, the team had to modify and integrate them carefully. The workaround fascinated millions of viewers, but it also highlighted Ferrari's strict approach to independent repairs. The company wanted the vehicle inspected through an approved dealer before providing additional support. From Ferrari's perspective, there were legitimate concerns. The 296's battery system, brakes, powertrain, and electronic safety controls are deeply interconnected. A mistake involving a high-voltage hybrid system could create serious safety and liability issues. But for Matt and his audience, the situation exposed another problem: Modern owners may physically own their cars while still depending heavily on manufacturers for software, diagnostics, and authorization.
You probably know the story. Matt Armstrong, a Ferrari 296 GTB.
Even if every damaged part is put back right, the vehicle might still not move at all until its computers are either reset properly or else given the proper go-ahead. Matt eventually managed to get the Ferrari going again, which showed real persistence, but also some technical creativity too. The whole struggle basically turned into part of the show, with viewers cheering for the notion of an independent builder going up against one of the world's strongest automotive brands, kind of head-on. Still, this project drifted into a bigger question, not just about one Ferrari. Like, how much say should manufacturers keep once someone buys their car, no matter what happens after? And since cars keep getting more and more ruled by software, independent repairers could end up running into even tougher walls. In the end, the Ferrari 296 GTB rebuild turned into more than a simple restoration. It became a sign of the bigger fight over repair rights, actual ownership, and how much control the makers try to hold. And if Ferrari already proved how hard modern supercar repairs can get, Matt's next Bugatti challenge is set to push past those limits even more. Across the globe, in Miami, a shattered Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport awaited its fate. A wreck so severe that the official channels slammed shut, forcing Matt and his team to confront a challenge of unparalleled scale. The Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport Challenge. The Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport is one of the most extreme hypercars ever built. Valued at around $6 million new and packed with technology few independent mechanics ever touch. When Miami influencer Alex Gonzalez crashed his Chiron, insurers reportedly declared it a total loss. Instead of walking away, Alex bought back the wreck for nearly $2 million and decided to rebuild it. That's when Matt Armstrong became involved. The damage was severe. The front end was destroyed, airbags had deployed, cooling components were smashed, and there were concerns about the carbon fiber structure and engine mounts. Repairing the car through official channels was expected to cost well over $1 million. Even worse, getting factory parts and technical support proved extremely difficult for an independent rebuild. For most mechanics, that would have ended the project. For Matt, it made the challenge even more interesting. Working with Alex and his team, Matt began dismantling the Chiron piece by piece. Every stage exposed new problems, forcing the team to improvise rather than simply order replacement components. The challenge wasn't only fixing visible crash damage. The Chiron combines advanced electronics, specialized suspension, exotic materials, complex cooling systems, and an enormous quad-turbocharged engine into one tightly integrated machine. Bugatti has long emphasized that cars this sophisticated require specialized knowledge, equipment, and procedures. Bugatti Rimac CEO Meta Rimac has also warned about the risks involved when extremely complex hypercars are repaired without proper expertise. But Matt continued pushing forward. One of the biggest breakthroughs came when the team managed to get the Chiron's engine running again. It was an important milestone for a car many believed might never return to the road. The rebuild quickly became more than entertainment. Millions of viewers watched an independent team confront problems normally handled behind closed doors by factory technicians. It also highlighted a growing debate surrounding high-end car ownership. When manufacturers tightly control parts, software, diagnostics, and repairs, owners can become dependent on official dealerships, even after purchasing cars worth millions. Matt's Chiron project challenged that system. His combination of mechanical skill, experimentation, and a massive online audience blurred the line between mechanic, engineer, and content creator. And the project raises an even bigger question. If an independent garage can already attempt something this complicated, what could become possible with significantly greater financial resources, advanced manufacturing technology, and engineering support? As Bezos' rumored offer hovers over this story, the promise of turning YouTube-scale passion into serious automotive power is suddenly much closer to reality. What Bezos's backing could mean. If the rumors are true, and Jeff Bezos puts $50 million behind Matt Armstrong, it could transform Matt's garage from a YouTube operation into a serious force in the supercar repair industry. The biggest advantage wouldn't just be the money. It would be access to advanced manufacturing, engineering, and AI-driven technology. With that kind of support, Matt could potentially manufacture rare or discontinued parts that Ferrari, Bugatti, and other manufacturers no longer provide. For independent repair shops, sourcing specialized components is often one of the biggest obstacles. Advanced manufacturing could dramatically reduce repair costs and waiting times, making restorations possible that would otherwise be abandoned. The funding could also allow Matt to hire experienced engineers, technicians, and designers while investing in equipment capable of producing and testing custom components. Projects once considered too expensive or technically difficult could become far more achievable. Matt also has something most automotive startups don't really have: millions of loyal viewers. His audience already trusts his whole problem-solving style, so any new repair or aftermarket venture could start with a real customer base and worldwide attention, basically from day one. Still though, keeping Matt's authenticity is going to be key. People stick around because they like the messy, unpredictable, hands-on way of rebuilding hurt cars. If the whole thing turns into a too polished corporate setup, then it might soften that personality that made the channel work in the first place. Now for brands like Ferrari and Bugatti though, a serious, well-funded independent competitor could really shake things up. Matt might give owners extra options, like what to do when manufacturers won't sell the parts, or won't offer technical support, or only push expensive repairs. Over time, this could even drift beyond restorations into a global aftermarket parts operation. If that ever happens, Bezos's support might help build a completely new supercar repair ecosystem, one where independent builders actually have the tools, the money, and the audience to go after manufacturers that have basically controlled the industry for decades. Jeff Bezos's rumored $50 million offer to Matt Armstrong isn't just about money. It's about a shift in power within the supercar world. Matt's blend of skill, creativity, and audience trust could meet Bezos's industrial muscle to redefine how exotic cars are repaired and maintained. Whether this partnership happens or not, one thing is clear. The era of independent restorers challenging legacy brands has arrived. If you enjoyed this dive into automotive disruption, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.